Live. And you are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-15 Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. And why the Dallas Cowboys 0-15? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody at all out there going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? Or anybody's going to watch the replay of this? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here, as I always do. Anybody got anything to say at all? Throw it in the chat box. I check on it every now and then. So if anybody's got anything to say, questions, comments, whatever, fire away. Put it in the chat box, and I'll check up on it. But I saw a couple interesting things kind of here. One was, and this is going to wind up being kind of huge on Monday night, especially if Leo the Lion is going to wind up missing his first career NFL game. It's not looking, never say never. Leo says he's a quick healer. Remember, he got injured last year. He had something, was his tricep or something with his arm or whatever like that. It was, wasn't looking good and all. And God darn, if he wasn't in the following week playing football. I think he probably had the brace on his arm or something like that. Man, just wants to play football. As I said in my video last night, you can say whatever you want, and I've said some things too, so don't get me wrong, about his contract, trading draft picks for him, where we could have gotten him in free agency, why did we, I don't know. We got him in the middle of the season. I don't know, like it was going to turn our season around or something, So you can say whatever you want. The contract is, and obviously, after you traded draft picks to get him, he kind of pushed into a corner as far as, trying to sign him, and so we wound up signing him. We got the big contract, good for him, all that stuff and everything. But, you can say whatever you want, but the man plays football. It takes a lot to get the man out. And this is his 8th season, right? It's not 114 games, I believe, I read last night, has not missed a game. Simply amazing. And I keep harping on this because I just shake my head every time I think about Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney can't run like 3 pass patterns without, pulling a groin muscle or something or whatever. Leonard Williams on every play, is in contact with somebody else, and sometimes maybe 2 guys, and possibly I haven't watched the film or anything like that. There might be some times where he comes in contact with 3 guys trying to block him every play. Kadarius Toney sometimes runs pass patterns or whatever, and nobody touches him, right? But every play, Leonard Williams is in there trying. Whether he's getting the sacks or not, that's a different story and all that. But he's in there in contact with people every play, and he hasn't missed a game since he's come into the league. That's absolutely phenomenal. So you got to give the guy some props for there. And one of the best things is, I keep hearing all the time, your best ability is your availability. It doesn't matter if you're Barry Sanders, Jim Brown, doesn't matter. Tom Brady, right? Doesn't matter. If you can't play, it's a business. What have you done for me lately? If you're on the sideline the whole time drinking Kool-Aid, it doesn't do us any good, right? So you got to give the man some props. But so it's going to be important for sexy Dexter Lawrence this week, quite possibly Monday night. All right, we're going to have to wind up seeing if we can get the 2 edge rushers in there, Kayvon and Azeez. Maybe we got the 2 edge rushers. I'll have to see what they do as far as the middle linebackers. But maybe, they might only have 2 defensive linemen. Right? You got your 2 edge rushers, your 2 defensive linemen. Maybe you might have 2 middle linebackers, and you might have the 3 safeties, what they did last week, right? Because they got a very good run. They got a good run attack, obviously, but they have good pass receivers, okay? So, you might want to have Belton, right? Love, McKinney, maybe have 3 cornerbacks, right? Or 2 or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? But, so losing Leo the Lion is going to be huge. But, if we get 2 edge rushers there, right, and we get Dexter Lawrence, we might only, sometimes might only require 1 other defensive lineman on the field. Right? You would like that to be Leonard Williams, but if he's got to take a week or two off, it is what it is. But Martindale is talking about Dexter Lawrence. He says he's a problem. The play where he chased Baker Mayfield down, I don't know that in my career I've ever seen a big man make a play like that. That's the kind of effort and leadership he brings to the defense. So one thing is, Wink Martindale, who was on the Ravens defensive coaching staff near the end of potential Hall of Famer Haloti Ngata. Remember him from with the Ravens career, and calling the plays during Brandon Williams' Pro Bowl season in awe. He highlighted it during Monday's defensive meeting, right? So Lawrence's role will be more important than ever Monday when the Giants play the Cowboys, and Leonard Williams, his partner on the interior defensive line for the last 3 seasons, is expected to miss a game for the first time in his career. But it won't let it rattle the former first-round pick, right, who Martindale described as one of my most favorite players I've ever been around in my life after just 6 months together. So, it's good. It's really, really good. I'm so happy they picked up his 5th-year option, and hopefully we can start seeing, right, a trend going on. You draft good players, and here's a concept, right? The Giants have just been kind of like forgetting about. You draft good players, and what do? You keep them, right? You pay them, you keep them on your team, all right? Okay. I mean, it's just simply amazing. It's like we draft guys, we just let them all go, and we go out into free agency, and we bring in these high price guys, right? So hopefully, with sexy Dexter, we'll sign him. We got him for next year. Picked up his 5th-year option. Excellent move. And then hopefully, we can, when we're going to have some cap money, right? And we can get him signed down on a nice little contract, extension after that. Whatever, it'd be another 3 or 4 years or so. But you figure this is his 4th year, right? We got him next year, 5. I mean, if we get him for another 3 or 4 years, get 8 or 9 years out of him, that would be fantastic, right? But there was one play where he was chasing Baker Mayfield, and he got it. I think Baker went out of bounds. I think it was just before he got to the first down marker, so it created a 4th down. But Dexter's out there running around. And I know Dexter also says something like he doesn't like quarterbacks to be faster than him, right? Let's see. It's an unusual rule for a 342-pound defensive tackle to live by, but Dexter Lawrence never wants to lose a foot race to a quarterback. Sure enough, there was the biggest man on the Giants defense was last Sunday, chasing a scrambling Baker Mayfield to the sideline, beating him to the first down marker and knocking the ball loose for a fumble out of bounds to bring up 4th down near the end of the first quarter. So, and it's contagious. As you can certainly see, without question, all the Giants, the defense is certainly helping the Giants, cause, without question. Jason Cruz, hey, how are you doing, man? Good evening. What do you think about Richie James' role once Wan'Dale comes back and we get a true? Yeah, I know it's. It's the thing. I mean, I tell you, boy, I love Richie James. If we can wind up keeping him going forward, that would be fantastic. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, it seems like Daboll and all, and they want like bunch of Stephon Diggs out there. Okay. From like coming, from Buffalo, maybe a Tyreek Hill. Not that we're ever going to find a Tyreek Hill, but it just seems like smaller guys, right? Who can, get their way open, get them the ball, and let them do what they do after the catch. You don't see like Darius Slayton in there, or getting much production from him. You don't see Kenny 2 games. Kenny Golladay, 2 catches, 22 yards, paying the guy $18 million a year. He's got 2 catches after 2 games. So it's like, we got Richie James, we got Sterling Shepard, we got Kadarius Toney, we got Wan'Dale Robinson. You got like a lot of these smaller guys. Okay. I guess Sills, he's done okay so far. But I mean, it seems like we have a lot of the smaller guys, right? One that run their routes or whatever, just get open, get them the ball, and let them do what they want to do. So I mean, I'm very, very happy we got Richie James. And thankfully, he seemed to be doing a very good job on the punt return, right? So very, very good there. But also the valuable thing that too is that, you're talking Wan'Dale Robinson. Not that he's been hurt before, but he just got hurt. Kadarius Toney runs a pass pattern or two. He gets hurt. Sterling Shepard, I love the guy to death. The guy can be on my team anytime. All he does is get hurt, right? So we got a bunch of guys, these smaller guys, right? And they get hurt a lot, okay? So it's good to have somebody like that, some good quality depth on a team like that, okay? So I'm very, very happy. Very good pickup. Now, are we going to keep him going forward? Who knows? But, I mean, for this season anyway, we got Richie James, and I'm very, very happy for that. Because, if he winds up getting pushed down the depth chart a little bit because all these other guys come back, he's some very good quality depth that we have, without question. Then we got Brian Daboll is glad that Kenny Golladay is upset with his role. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Giants wide receiver Kenny Golladay vented his frustration over a reduced role on Wednesday, even refusing to rule out a potential trade request. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, Golladay said. We're going to see how it goes. I came here to play. There's also paying me to play. They want to see more, I guess, whatever the situation on their end. I keep doing what I got to do as far as I come in each day. Following Galladay's comments, he met with head coach Brian Daboll, and the two discussed things. And while neither will make public what was said, Daboll is pleased with Galladay's frustration because it shows a competitive edge. The man wants to play. I'd be pissed off too. Hell yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of like what it is. He's happy that Kenny Golladay is upset. Now, is that going to change things as far as how much time he's going to be playing? Who knows? We're going to have to wind up wait and see. But, we got from Pat Leonard. He said, Brian Daboll says he's spoken to Kenny Golladay and he's glad a player is unhappy when he doesn't play. Won't divulge this week's plan or exactly what he's told Golladay on why. Daboll most notably says that game day roster is a collaboration between him and GM Joe Schoen each week. Right. So, but I mean, he's good. I mean, he's happy. He's happy. He's pissed off. Not that he's, happy, pissed off, and maybe get a trade request or whatever. But, he's happy that he's pissed off because he's not playing. That's good. I mean, you don't want somebody being content. All right, well, I got my money, I got paid, if they want to put me in there for 2 plays, okay. I got my money, but so, I mean, that's kind of, I think what it is. Now, is that going to change anything? Who knows? I mean, if he just can't, they can't use him, right? They can't use him. Now you got to remember, I mean, it's also, a lot of what Kenny Golladay does is, he goes kind of down, deep. You need time for that. And, the Giants have had a hard time protecting the quarterback. So, I mean, you got to pick your spots, to try to wind up going deep. And another thing you don't want to do too is like, there's certain guy. I mean, like, remember when we used to have Ron Dane? Right. When Tiki Barber was in the game, okay, it could be a run or a pass. Then Tiki would, maybe have, whatever, take a couple plays off or something like that. They'd send Ron Dane in the game. And it was just kind of like almost like the other team knew, oh, they're running the ball. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, sometimes like Ron Dane would get the ball, there wasn't any holes or not, because the other team knew. Right. So, I mean, so every time you put Kenny Golladay in, oh, they're going deep. You know what I mean? So you got to pick and choose when you put him in. Right. So you got to be careful. I mean, because every time they send him in, if he winds up going deep and they throw the ball deep, I mean, you can't be tipping your cap like that. So, I mean, or tipping your hand like that. So they got to watch out what they're going to do. But I know, obviously he's very, very happy that he's pissed off. And that's good. That's good. But also, somewhere along the line, it's going to, they're going to be a split between the two, right? They got this article here from the Post, right? Keeping Kenny Golladay stuck on the bench is not going to help anyone. It's not going to help Golladay, of course. and it's not going to help the Giants, and a passing attack that needs to show a whole lot more to continue to win games by the narrowest of margins. This needs to be a user of relationship more than anything else. The most powerful telescope in the land cannot see Golladay on the roster in 2023. Nope, he will not, absolutely not be here. There's no legitimate way to envision him on the roster, to envision him off the roster in 2022, given the salary cap implications inherent in jettison him and the fact that he's guaranteed $13 million whether he plays or sits. Yeah. It certainly looks as if the shelf life of Daboll and Golladay is this one season. Why not make it beneficial for both sides before they split their separate ways? I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you got him, he's got a special talent, just try to use him as much as you can. I said the big thing is unfortunately is that, his one talent is not like, like what Kadarius Toney has. Kadarius Toney can get open in a phone booth, Kenny Golladay can't. That's not him. So, I mean, they got to have to kind of pick and choose. But, I mean, this article is true. I mean, you're paying the dude. He has a special talent. At least try to get something out of the special talent, before it winds up splitting up. Now, whether it winds up being some type of trade request, the trade going down halfway through the season or just before the trade deadline or whatever, or it winds up being after the season, after you let him go. I mean, you don't know exactly, but I mean, he will not be on this roster in 2023. There's no way. He's just not, I guess, built for their system. Right. So, but it would be nice if they would wind up, getting some use out of it. I mean, my God, could you imagine going 2 seasons with Kenny Golladay paying him on average $18 million a season and not having the guy get in the end zone one time? Could you imagine that? Whew. Unbelievable. All right, then we got injury. Kadarius Toney returns to practice. Holy cow. Until he injures himself again, which will probably be any time. He returned to the practice field on Thursday as they continue the preparations for week 3 against the Cowboys. Head coach Brian Daboll says edge rushers Kayvon Thibodeaux and Azeez Ojulari are both making strides and indicated they are likely to play Monday night. Yes, baby! That would be huge. Both players have seen an uptick in practice reps. That would be huge. Ojulari declared himself good to go. Yeah, baby. Oh, man. I mean, I'm not saying, we're going to have Kayvon and Azeez on the field. Oh, we got 3 sacks a game from them. I'm not saying that. But, it'll help with the pressure, right? So it's going to be exciting to see what those guys can do. Hopefully they can stay healthy because neither one's been healthy so far this year. But it'll be so exciting to see what they can do, right? Wide receiver Kadarius Toney, who sat out practice on Wednesday, returned on a limited basis. Daboll also wouldn't officially rule out defensive lineman Leonard Williams out for the Monday night game, so, although it remains unlikely that he'll play. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, as I said, Leonard Williams said he's a fast healer, but fast healing from a knee, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But their injury report on Thursday, did not participate, was Leonard Williams from his knee, so he will not, right? I mean, they're gonna baby him all the way up as far as they can to see if what he can do, right? Aaron Robinson with his appendectomy, all right, so we'll have to, he may not. We'll have to wait and see. Nick McLeod had a hamstring. Wan'Dale Robinson with his knee, and Justin Lane had a concussion, another cornerback. Limited in practice was Kayvon Thibodeaux, Azeez Ojulari, John Feliciano with his shin. I know it was a lower leg, but it's a shin. Shin. I was wondering what it was. Jason Pinnock with his shoulder, Dane Belton with his shoulder or his clavicle. And Kadarius Toney with his hamstring. They were all limited in practice, but we still got Friday, we got Saturday, we got Sunday, and we got most of Monday. So we still got like over 3.5 days. Actually, I mean, right now, the game's going to start, what do we got, in 4 days? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days from now, actually, the game will be on in 4 days from now. So, or actually, it'd be on, it'd be getting close to being over. But, So they still got almost 4 full days, all right, to recuperate. So, you can do some healing in 4 days. Now, whether it'll be enough for some of these guys, we'll have to wait and see. But just keep your fingers crossed because, all hands on deck. I don't care who the Cowboys have a quarterback. The Cowboys always, doesn't matter, give us a hard time. I saw this article here, okay, from it's the G-Men fan-sided, okay. Where do they come up with this stuff? I mean, the Giants are 2-0. Now, where do they come up with some of this stuff? It's funny. I saw this article, 3 reasons the Giants will dominate the Cowboys. I mean, I don't know where, All right, the article says, your New York Giants are 2-0 behind a resurgent Saquon Barkley and a revitalized defense, plus a new coaching regime, thankfully. We've already covered why those factors should lead to a low-scoring affair against the Cowboys in Week 3. But it's time to secure a big payday with a dominant Giants victory. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say, no. Well, hey, I hope they kick the crap out of them, but let's see here. 3 reasons why the Giants will dominate the Cowboys. This is from Fansided. Stellar defense. New York's versatile defense allowed just 36 points combined through these first 2 games, and it's the largest reason the Giants are 2-0. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, they kept the Giants in the game against the Titans. I mean, the Titans, if they had scored, they scored the 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. If it had been like, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, if they were down 21-0 at halftime, I mean, things would have looked bleak. They kept the Giants in the game, right? The Giants, were able to come back, okay, and tied it up. And then obviously as soon as they tied it up, Tennessee marched down the field and scored the go-ahead, the touchdown to go back ahead 20-13. Right? But then the Giants obviously went, they got the touchdown there at the end. But I mean, it was the defense that kept the Giants in the game. The game could have been way out of hand early on. Tennessee walked down like the first 5 minutes of the game, they're up 7-0. Then you figure the whole rest of the last 55 minutes of the game, they scored, 13 points. So the Giants defense kept them in the game, right? Then again, same thing with Carolina. They did a very, very good job. And you're also looking at it too, especially against Carolina, right, where our offense was not very good. Our offense had like 265 yards of total offense, not very good. So the defense kept going on the field, and they held Carolina. Carolina had that 1 touchdown drive, was a 3-play drive. They just kind of had that walk right down the field, the 3 plays, put up to 7 points. I'm like, oh man, but the rest of the game kept them in check. But, they had a grand total of, 3 other field goals, right? So the defense did a very, very good job. Now, we were not facing the Buffalo Bills. We were not facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, we're not. Apparently, it looks like we're not facing the Philadelphia Eagles either. I hate saying that, but we weren't facing like elite offenses. Okay, but the defense has done a very good job so far. Okay. Wink Martindale has his crew playing fantastic football, and the Giants' dynamic playmakers should shine against a weak Dallas offense that is just 23 points on the season. Reason number 2, coaching advantage. Just like I love the Giants in Week 2 because of Brian Daboll's edge over Panthers coach Matt Rule, I think Daboll will coach circles around Mike McCarthy. I've long been a critic of McCarthy, whose unimaginative schemes were overshadowed by Dak Prescott's excellence and timely defensive turnovers last year. But you can only hide your wants for so long, and Daboll should have no problem exploiting McCarthy's deficiencies. Well, also with McCarthy, toward the end there, most of his time with the Pack, right? Aaron Rodgers, so he had phenomenal quarterbacks, right? Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback, without question. But so he's always had some very good quarterback play. Now, so is he the type of coach who can, coach around that if he has a second stringer or doesn't have a good quarterback in there? He's had some rough moments there in Dallas, that's for sure, without question. Now, they did good last week against the Bengals. They beat the Bengals with with Cooper Rush in there. So, but I think that's why it's so important for the Giants, to get in there. If we can get Azeez and Kayvon in there to get some pressure on there a little bit quicker than what we've been doing. Maybe, you got the blitzes from Wink Martindale with his defense, but also if you get some pressure from the edge rushers to get, to rattle Cooper Rush a little bit. He's been in the league for quite a few years, all right? But the Giants, if they get some pressure on him, help rattle him, maybe we can get a turnover or two out of him, whatever. I think it's going to be a lot closer game than anybody anticipates, or especially from this article here. Then reason number 3 here, they got the Giants will have their best player on the field Monday. And that typically bodes well. Carolina did a good job of bottling up Barkley for the most part in the game for week 2. But you can only hold the NFL's best running back down for so long before he explodes. It says Leonard Fournette ran for 127 yards against the Cowboys in week 1. And Saquon should find running lanes this week. Expect at least one huge play from Barkley that changes the game's momentum as he carries New York to victory. Yeah, he's had his certainly had good moments against the Cowboys, without question. Okay. Definitely. He's had some nice long runs against the Cowboys and all, but we got Cruz. Jason Cruz, you got any score predictions on the Monday night game? Yeah, I'm going over that. Well, not right now. I'll go over that later. But as I said, that's going to be a much closer game. Let me just. Okay, thank you, Jason. Let's bring me up to my next point here. What we got? This article here from Fanside, why the Giants are going to dominate. Well, the last time the Giants dominated and kicked butt against the Cowboys at home was 10 years ago. Okay, 2012. The Giants won. Where the hell is it? Is it 2012? 2012. Giants 17, 24-17. Oh, I'm sorry. No, actually, no, maybe it was the last game of the season. Maybe it was 2011. Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, okay, January 1st, 2012. Okay, so it was the last game of the season. Okay, for the 2011 season. Giants won at home 31-17. I'm sorry, 31-14. They were up 21-0, okay, at halftime, and they kind of cruised to victory, all right? Right, so this is the 2011 season, the magical season. I think this one, if I remember correctly, whoever won this went to the playoffs. Giants won, went to the playoffs. This is battle for the playoffs. Now, obviously, let's not forget what happened in 2011, right? So the Giants lost this game. They didn't go to the playoffs. They didn't win that Super Bowl, right? So the Giants had to win this game. So whoever won this game went to the playoffs. So if the Cowboys won this game, they would have been 9-7. Giants would have been 8-8. Giants would have been out. Cowboys would have gone into the playoffs. I probably wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. But so the last time the Giants kicked the Cowboys' butt was in 2011. All right, so you got to go back all the way back to 2011. Because, let me just show you here. 2012, the Giants lost to the Cowboys at home. 2013, the Giants lost to the Cowboys at home. 2014, the Giants lost to the Cowboys at home. 2015, the Giants beat the Cowboys by 7 points. 2016, Giants beat the Cowboys 10-7. That was the year the Giants went to the playoffs last time. Giants, first game of the season, Victor Cruz scored a touchdown pass, right? That was his only touchdown pass reception of the whole season. That's when he came back from injuries. He had the one touchdown pass. It was the game winner in Dallas. We won. We beat him 20-19, right? Then later on in the season, okay, because our offense was not really a juggernaut that year, but the defense was doing good. We won at home 10-7. We beat the Cowboys 10-7 on December 11th. Okay. In 2017, the Cowboys kicked the crap out of the Giants 30-10. 2018, Cowboys beat the Giants again. I mean, we it's like almost an impossibility for us to beat the Cowboys. Have a better record in Giants Stadium than the Giants do. I mean, it's amazing. 2019 Cowboys kicked the crap out of the Giants, 37-18. 2020 Giants won by 4 points. Okay, last year Cowboys won 21-6. So, I mean, as far as kicking the crap out of it, dominating them or anything like that, it doesn't, it don't matter, right? I mean, it's Dallas, right? They're not in awe of the Giants. They're not in awe of coming to Jersey, right? They're not in awe of our fan base, right? Not saying that they're going to come in and kill us or nothing like that, but the Giants, as far as kicking and dominating the Cowboys and all, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, the Cowboys do a very good job of getting pressure. They got pressure on Burrow last week. Giants have been giving up a lot of pressure, so it's not going to be a picnic for Daniel Jones, okay? If we can get Kadarius Toney out there and get him start doing his stuff without him getting injured, I mean, right? Because remember, he had a field day against the Cowboys last year in Dallas, 10 catches, 189 yards, I think it was. Had a field. They couldn't cover him at all. Couldn't come close to covering him. But the Giants got to protect Daniel Jones. We can't get stupid penalties. We can't turnovers. We can't have a Daniel Jones a sack with the fumble with Dallas picking it up or interceptions or right. We got to make the Cowboys march down the field like Cooper Rush marched the team down the field. Got to get some pressure on them and all that. But I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, I'm kind of hoping the Giants come out on top. Once again, it's one score game either way, right? I don't see the Giants blowing the Cowboys out. I mean, if the Giants wind up winning, maybe 24-17, somewhere around there, but I can certainly see the Cowboys winning without question. A lot of it's going to depend on turnovers, I think. What does Daniel Jones do? Do they get pressure on him? Does he throw a bunch of interceptions, fumbles, and all that and everything, right? I think the Giants defense will make it tough on the Cowboys offense. So I don't think the Cowboys will have an easy time just walking up and down the field, okay, on the Giants defense. But a lot of it's going to come to turnovers. So the Cowboys get like a couple of easy field goals because of turnovers. I'll have to want to wait and see. But it's going to be, even Cooper Rush is in there. I think the Giants, it's going to be a tough game. And hopefully I'm pulling for the Giants to win. If I had to bet anything, I'd bet the Giants were going to wind up winning. I said, I think it'd be a touchdown either way, 7-8 points either way. I can certainly see the Cowboys winning because the Giants, the Cowboys coming in here, it's kind of like a home away from home from them, right? Right. Giants have not had much success against the Cowboys at home. So that's hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to go over that a little bit more in depth and detail as we get closer to the game. But it's been about 33 minutes. Anybody spend any time at all watching me? I greatly appreciate it. You guys are the best. And anybody spends any time at all watching a replay of this, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely freaking rock. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.